Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into something really serious, the recent terror attack in Pahalgam, South Kashmir.
It's a significant event, absolutely. We'll be using various reports to piece this together.
Yeah, we've got Times of India, the Economic Times, Indian Express, NDTV, plus some YouTube coverage from India Today, and the Wikipedia entry on the attack.
Good range of sources.
Our goal here is really to understand what happened on the ground, the immediate fallout, and maybe touch on the broader sort of implications.
Right. Let's start with the attack specifics. It happened Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, around 3 p.m.
Okay, mid-afternoon.
And the place was Baisaran Valley in Pahalgam. It's about 7 kilometers, maybe 4 miles or so,
Yeah.
from Pahalgam town, and Anantnag district.
That's the area they call mini Switzerland, isn't it? Very scenic.
Exactly. Beautiful meadows.
Yeah.
But importantly, it's only accessible by foot or horseback.
Which means security isn't as heavy there, presumably.
Precisely. Reports say 5 militants came down from the dense pine forest nearby. Oh, yes. M4 carbines, AK-47s. And they were wearing military-type uniforms, according to the source.
And their target was tourists.
Tragically, yes. Civilians. Initial reports, sometimes numbers fluctuate, but the confirmed count seems to be at least 26 dead.
26. That's horrifying.
It is. And that includes 23 from different Indian states, 1 local from Jammu and Kashmir, and apparently 2 foreign tourists.
Foreign tourists from where?
Some sources mention Nepal and the UAE, although there seems to be some, let's say, discussion around the specifics of that detail, and at least 20 others were injured.
Just awful. And the details of how they targeted people? Quite disturbing.
Very. Reports suggest they were asking for names, for religion. Some people were apparently asked to recite the kalima, the Islamic verse.
Sort of test to separate people.
That seems to be the implication, yeah. A method to segregate based on religion.
And there were even more graphic reports about checking for circumcision before shooting.
Yes. Some sources mention that men were allegedly forced to remove trousers for that check before being shot at close range. There's also mention of video footage showing the panic, the aftermath. Just horrific scenes.
Unbelievable brutality.
And some survivor accounts really stick with you. One mentioned an attacker sparing a woman, telling her to, quote, narrate the horrors to the prime minister.
Chilling. Absolutely chilling. Using survivors to spread fear.
Exactly. And another account, a Christian man from Madhya Pradesh reportedly killed because he couldn't recite the kalima, while a Hindu who did recite it was spared. It highlights just how targeted and brutal it was.
But amidst this horror, there was bravery too, right? The local pony operator.
Yes, Syed Adil Hussain Shah, a local pony owner who was killed trying to protect the tourists. Sources say he even tried to physically confront one of the attackers, try to disarm him.
Incredible courage. He lost his life doing that.
A true hero in that moment. And the victims, they came from all over India. It really shows the national impact.
Which states were mentioned?
Let's see. Arunachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, Odisha, Gujarat, Haryana, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal. A real cross-section.
And some were service members.
Yes, recently married officers from the Air Force and Navy and an official from the Intelligence Bureau were among those killed.
There was an eyewitness account mentioned from someone named Kuldeep.
That's right. He described being nearby, thinking the gunshots were maybe firecrackers at first.
Understandable confusion in a tourist spot.
Totally. He mentioned being asked to recite the kalma and seeing someone shot for not responding. He and his family managed to get to safety, helped by a local, Nazakat Ali.
These personal stories, they really bring home the human reality of it.
They absolutely do. And immediately after the attack, the scene was just chaos.
Pahalgam thrown into panic.
Completely. Reports describe people crying for help, women searching for loved ones. Just awful.
But the local community, they helped.
Immensely. Locals assisted with rescue, offered shelter. Those pony handlers we mentioned. They used their animals, even made improvised stretchers to get the injured out.
That's remarkable community spirit in the face of something so terrible.
It really is. The injured were taken to the Pahalgam hospital, then the district hospital in Anantnag.
And the serious cases.
Critically injured were airlifted to a military hospital in Srinagar. And a helpline was set up quickly for families needing info.
And the security response?
Immediate. Joint cordon and search operation launched. Pahalgam went into a temporary lockdown. Helicopters were brought in to track the militants.
Where did they think the militants went?
Reports suggested they fled toward the Pir Panjal mountain range.
And the impact on Pahalgam itself? Tourism must have just stopped.
Ground to a halt. The place, usually bustling, apparently became vacant as tourists evacuated. understandably so.
But there was help for those fleeing.
Yes. Notably, gurudwaras in Kashmir opened their doors, offering shelter and aid to the fleeing tourists. Another example of people helping people.
Okay, so who claimed responsibility for this?
The Resistance Front, or TRF. They put out a statement.
And they're linked to Lashkar-e-Taiba, Lashiti.
Yes, they're described as a proxy for Lecce, which is, of course, a banned Pakistan-based group.
And their stated reason.
They cited the settlement of non-Kashmiris, claiming it's driving demographic change.
That's a politically charged claim, obviously, especially post-Article 370.
Very much so. It's a narrative with a lot of contention and history behind it. Intelligence agencies, meanwhile, pointed fingers, too.
Who did they identify?
Saifullah Kasuri, alias Khalid, said to be a top Lecce commander, identified as the mastermind.
And the police. Did they identify suspects?
Yes. Jammu and Kashmir police released sketches of 3 suspected militants, also linked to Lecce. At least 2 thought to be foreign nationals.
Names.
Asif Foji, also known as Busa, Sulaiman Shah, or Yunus, and Abu Talha, also known as Asif. These names have reportedly come up in connection with previous incidents in the Pooch area, too.
And there were immediate actions against some alleged attackers. House demolitions.
That's right. Reports, including video from India today, showed houses of 2 alleged attackers, Adil and Asif, being destroyed.
How were they destroyed?
Using IEDs and bulldozers, apparently. These were in Anantnag and Trau. Adil was reportedly involved in planning and had illegally traveled to Pakistan back in 2018. Asif is considered the main planner.
Right. Let's shift to the reactions domestically from the Indian government.
Strong and swift. PM Modi condemned it forcefully, offered condolences, promised consequences. He actually cut short a visit to Saudi Arabia.
Significant move. What about local leadership in J&K?
Chief Minister Omar Abdullah called it the largest attack on civilians in recent years, condemned the perpetrators. Lieutenant Governor Manoy Sinha also condemned it, promised accountability.
And the Home Minister, Amit Shah.
He traveled to Srinagar to assess things, coordinate the security response, visited the site too. He also reportedly contacted state chief ministers about ensuring Pakistani nationals leave by a May 1st deadline.
A deadline? That's quite a measure.
It is. And the government held an all-party meeting to brief the opposition. Reports suggest the government might have acknowledged some security lapses there.
How did the opposition react?
Generally condemned the attack. Some criticized government policy on Kashmir, but offered support on security. And following that center directive, Delhi enforced the order for Pakistanis to leave.
Revoking visas.
Those visas, yeah.
Yeah.
Exceptions for medical, diplomatic, long-term ones. Bihar followed suit with similar directives.
Wow. Okay, what about international reactions?
Widespread condemnation. Condolences came from many countries. Iran, Israel, Italy, Saudi Arabia, UAE, UK, US. Neighbors, too.
The UN.
The UN Security Council issued a formal press statement, called it a cowardly terrorist attack, reaffirmed the need to combat terrorism.
And the Secretary General.
Antonio Guterres also condemned it, and importantly, urged both India and Pakistan to exercise maximum restraint.
Did any countries issue travel warnings?
The U.S. did.
Yeah.
A do-not-travel advisory for Jammu and Kashmir, and advised avoiding areas within 10 kilometers of the India-Pakistan border.
How did Pakistan respond officially?
Their foreign ministry expressed condolences, but flatly denied any involvement, called the allegations frivolous. They also warned about retaliation for India's actions, suspended visas for Indians, and closed their airspace.
Closed airspace. That's a major step. Okay, so what were India's specific retaliatory measures?
Several big ones. Suspending the Indus Waters Treaty with Pakistan was huge.
The water-sharing treaty from 1960? That's survived wars, hasn't it?
It has. It's generally been seen as quite resilient. Suspending it is a very significant move, symbolically and potentially practically, long-term impacts on water access.
What else?
Closure of the integrated checkpost at Atari, that stops the main overland transit and trade route.
Okay, cutting physical links.
And suspending the SARC visa exemption scheme for Pakistani nationals gave them 40 hours to leave India.
Wow, 40 hours. Were there exceptions?
Yes, medical visas got an extension until April 29th. SARC, that's the South Asian Regional Cooperation Body for content.
Diplomatic ties.
Both countries scaled down diplomatic staff and their high commissions in the other's capital, a standard signal of displeasure.
And India's water minister made some strong statements, too.
Yes, the Jal Shakti minister said India would ensure not even a drop of water flows to Pakistan, talking about things like desilting dams, increasing reservoir capacity. Strong rhetoric there.
So tensions must have spiked along the line of control.
Yes, regrettably. Reports of small arms fire exchanged across the Law Sea. The usual tense situation got worse.
Were there protests within India?
Oh, yes. Many parts of India saw protests condemning the attack. There was a Delhi ban, a kind of citywide shutdown. Even locals in Anantnag protested.
Showing solidarity and anger.
Absolutely. On other fronts, the Maharashtra government arranged special flights to bring back tourists evacuated from Kashmir.
That's helpful. Any diplomatic moves to calm things down?
Interestingly, Iran offered to mediate between India and Pakistan.
An offer for mediation. Did anything come of that?
Not clear from the sources yet. Meanwhile, the Indian community protested outside the Pakistan High Commission in London.
And Pakistan's response internally?
Their Senate passed a resolution rejecting India's attempts to link Pakistan to the attack.
But one thing remained open. The Kartarpur corridor.
Yes. Reports indicated the Kartarpur corridor for Sikh pilgrims remained open, which is notable amidst the high tensions.
And military leadership.
The Indian Army Chief, General Upendra Dwivedi, reviewed the security situation in Kashmir personally.
Underscoring the seriousness. Any other developments?
The National Stock Exchange, NSE, pledged financial support for the victims' families, a gesture from the corporate side.
Okay, so wrapping this up, let's distill the key takeaways.
Well, clearly, this brutal attack on tourists set off immediate panic, but also a really comprehensive response from India's security, diplomatic, even resource-related, and strong international condemnation, too.
And it's undeniable that this has seriously ratcheted up tensions between India and Pakistan. Suspending the Indus Treaty, closing borders, diplomatic downgrades, these are major moves.
Absolutely. It throws the volatility of the region into sharp focus again. And it's a tragic reminder of the human cost of terrorism. Understanding the complexities, the consequences, it feels more important than ever.
So the final thought to leave people with, given these strong reactions, the history of the conflict, what might the long-term fallout be for regional stability, for the future of India-Pakistan relations? It's a heavy question, isn't it?
It really is. Where things go from here,
Yeah.
it's something we'll all be watching closely.